Welcome to my channel, Old Valuable Chiller. Did you know a 1-cent coin in your pocket could be worth thousands of dollars? The most valuable 1-cent coin ever discovered is the 1943 copper wheat penny, accidentally struck during World War II. While most 1943 pennies were made from steel, a small number were minted in pure copper, making them extremely rare and highly valuable. Today, a genuine 1943 copper penny can sell for over $1 million at auction, depending on condition. Collectors search for this coin by testing it with a magnet, since real copper pennies are not magnetic. Always check your old pennies carefully, because this rare 1-cent coin could change your life overnight. First up, the 1943 D 1-cent coin from the United States is one of the most talked about and historically important pennies ever produced, and even today it continues to surprise collectors, coin hunters, and everyday people who discover one in old collections or inherited jars of coins. This single year completely changed how the U.S. penny was made, and the Denver Mint played a critical role in that story. In 1943, the United States was deeply involved in World War II, and copper was urgently needed for military equipment such as ammunition, electrical wiring, and communications gear. Because of this shortage, the U.S. Mint made a historic decision to stop producing copper pennies for 1 year only. Instead, pennies were struck on zinc-coated steel planchets, giving them a silver-gray appearance unlike any other Lincoln cent before or after. This makes the 1943 penny instantly recognizable, even to non-collectors. The 1943 D penny was struck at the Denver Mint, identified by the small D mint mark located below the date on the obverse. Denver produced hundreds of millions of these steel cents, yet many have been lost, damaged, or heavily corroded over time. Because steel reacts differently than copper, surviving examples can vary widely in condition, which greatly affects their value today. On the front of the coin, the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln appears, designed by Victor David Brenner. Lincoln's profile faces right, with the word Liberty to the left and the date 1943 clearly visible. Beneath the date sits the Denver D mint mark. On the reverse, the design features 2 wheat stalks framing the words 1 cent and United States of America, with E pluribus unum at the top. This wheat reverse design was used from 1909 through 1958, making it a favorite among collectors. What truly makes the 1943 D penny exciting is not just the steel version, but the rare and famous errors associated with this year. While most 1943 pennies were made of steel, a tiny number were accidentally struck on leftover copper planchets from 1942. These copper 1943 pennies are among the rarest and most valuable coins in American numismatics. If a 1943 D penny were ever found in copper, it would be considered an extraordinary discovery worth a life-changing amount of money. However, authentic copper examples from Denver are extremely rare, and most copper-colored 1943 pennies turn out to be altered steel coins or later dated since modified to look like 1943. Because of this, collectors often perform simple tests at home. A real 1943 steel penny will stick to a magnet, while a genuine copper penny will not. Weight is another indicator, as steel pennies weigh less than copper ones. Still, authentication by experts is always recommended for any suspected rare example, as counterfeits are common due to the high values involved. Even regular steel 1943 D pennies can be valuable depending on their condition. Coins that still have strong zinc coating, minimal corrosion, sharp details, and original surfaces are more desirable. Many 1943 steel cents suffer from rust, pitting, or dark spots where the zinc coating has worn away, exposing the steel underneath. Well-preserved examples stand out and are increasingly harder to find as time passes. Another popular category among collectors is error coins from the 1943 D issue. These include off-center strikes, double strikes, clip planchets, die cracks, and weak strikes. Because wartime production was rushed, errors occurred more frequently than in peacetime years. Some of these errors can significantly increase the coin's value and collector demand. The historical significance of the 1943 D penny adds to its appeal. It represents a moment when everyday American money directly reflected the sacrifices and needs of a nation at war. This coin circulated during a time when families supported the war effort, soldiers were overseas, and materials were carefully rationed. Holding a 1943 D steel cent is like holding a small piece of World War II history. Many people ask whether the 1943 D penny is rare. In general terms, it is not rare in low condition due to high mintage, but high-quality examples and era varieties are far more difficult to locate. Demand remains strong because the steel penny is so different from all other Lincoln cents, making it a must-have for both beginner and advanced collectors. If you find a 1943 D penny today, never clean it. Cleaning can permanently damage the surface and dramatically reduce its value. Instead, store it in a dry, protective holder to prevent moisture and corrosion. Steel coins are especially vulnerable to environmental damage, so proper storage is essential. The popularity of the 1943 D penny continues to grow on YouTube, Google searches, and among coin collectors worldwide. Many people are actively searching for valuable pennies, rare Lincoln cents, and wartime coins, making this coin an excellent topic for collectors and content creators alike. Whether you're searching pocket change, estate collections, or old coin jars, the 1943 D penny remains one of the most exciting 1-cent coins to look for. In conclusion, the 1943 D 1-cent coin from the United States is far more than just a penny. It is a symbol of American history, wartime innovation, and numismatic fascination. From its steel composition to its potential era varieties and legendary copper counterparts, this coin continues to capture attention and inspire collectors around the world. If you enjoy learning about valuable coins, rare pennies, and hidden treasures in everyday money, the 1943 D Lincoln cent is a perfect example of how even the smallest coin can tell an incredible story. Next up, the 1946 1-cent coin from the United States is one of the most historically important and widely searched Lincoln pennies in American numismatics, marking a major turning point in U.S. coinage history. If you have ever wondered about the true value, rarity, eras, and collectible potential of the 1946 Lincoln Wheat Penny, this complete guide will explain everything collectors and coin enthusiasts need to know. The year 1946 is especially significant because it represents the first full year of penny production after World War II. During the war years, the United States Mint faced serious material shortages, which led to the famous steel cent of 1943 and changes in metal composition throughout the early 1940s. By 1946, the mint returned to a copper-based alloy, restoring the traditional look and feel of the Lincoln cent that collectors recognize today. The 1946 1-cent coin features the iconic portrait of President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, a design originally introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. The portrait was created by Victor David Brenner and remains one of the most recognizable designs in American coin history. On the obverse of the 1946 penny, you will find Lincoln facing right, with the word Liberty positioned behind his head and the date 1946 clearly visible in front. On the reverse side, the 1946 penny displays the classic wheat ears design, which was used from 1909 until 1958. Two wheat stalks frame the words 1 cent and United States of America, with the national motto E Pluribus Unum displayed at the top. This reverse design is why collectors often refer to this coin as the 1946 Lincoln Wheat Penny. The metal composition of the 1946 1-cent coin is another important detail that adds to its historical value. It is made of approximately 95% copper and 5% zinc and tin. This return to copper after wartime experimentation is one of the reasons the 1946 penny is so widely collected. The coin has a diameter of 19 millimeters and a weight of about 3.11 grams, matching the standard specifications of traditional copper Lincoln cents. In 1946, the United States Mint produced pennies at 3 different mint locations. These include Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The Philadelphia Mint produced coins without a mint mark, while the Denver Mint used a small D mint mark, and the San Francisco Mint used an S mint mark. Each mint produced millions of coins, but differences in condition, strike quality, and rarity can significantly affect value today. The 1946 penny with no mint mark is the most commonly found variety. Millions were struck at the Philadelphia Mint, making it widely available to collectors. However, even common coins can become valuable if they are well preserved or feature unique eras. High-quality examples with strong detail and original color are especially desirable. The 1946 D penny from the Denver Mint is also popular among collectors. While it is not considered rare, it is slightly scarcer than the Philadelphia issue. Collectors often look for sharp mint marks, strong wheat lines, and clean surfaces when evaluating a 1946 D Lincoln cent. The 1946 penny, struck at the San Francisco Mint, is known for slightly lower production numbers compared to the other two mints. As a result, it can carry a modest premium in higher conditions. Coins with full wheat detail and minimal wear are especially attractive to collectors focused on completing wheat penny sets. Condition plays a critical role in determining the value of a 1946 1-cent coin. Pennies that have heavy wear, scratches, or discoloration are generally worth only their base collector value. However, coins that retain strong details in Lincoln's hair, facial features, and coat, along with sharp wheat stalks on the reverse, are far more desirable. Color is another major factor in the value of a 1946 penny. Coins that still show their original reddish copper color are typically worth more than those that have darkened or turned brown over time. Many collectors actively search for examples with bright surfaces and minimal oxidation. One of the most exciting aspects of the 1946 Lincoln cent is the possibility of mint errors and varieties. Error coins are highly searched online and can dramatically increase a penny's value. Common errors found on 1946 pennies include double die details, off-center strikes, clip planchets, and weak strikes. Some coins may show doubling on the date or lettering, which can be visible without magnification. Another interesting feature collectors look for is repunched mint marks on the 1946 D and 1946 pennies. These occur when the mint mark was stamped more than once in slightly different positions. Such varieties are highly collectible and often command strong premiums. The 1946 penny is also a favorite among beginner collectors because it is affordable, historically significant, and widely available. Many people discover these coins in old jars, inherited collections, or circulated pocket change, making them an accessible entry point into coin collecting. From an investment perspective, the 1946 1-cent coin may not be extremely rare, but demand for wheat pennies remains strong. As older copper coins continue to disappear from circulation, well-preserved examples are becoming harder to find. This steady demand helps support long-term collector interest. Collectors often store their 1946 Lincoln cents carefully to preserve their condition. Keeping coins in a dry environment, away from moisture and harsh chemicals, is essential for maintaining value. Handling coins by the edges rather than the surfaces also helps prevent damage. The historical importance of the 1946 penny cannot be overstated. It represents a return to normalcy after wartime production challenges and stands as a symbol of post-war America. This historical context adds emotional and educational value beyond the coin's monetary worth. Many collectors aim to complete full wheat penny sets, and the 1946 1-cent coin is a key part of that journey. Whether collected as a single example or as part of a larger collection, it remains a cornerstone of Lincoln cent history. In summary, the 1946 1-cent coin from the United States is a classic collectible with deep historical roots, strong collector demand, and lasting appeal. Its copper composition, wheat reverse design, multiple mint varieties, and potential for valuable errors make it one of the most searched and discussed pennies among collectors today. If you have a 1946 penny, it is worth taking a closer look. Small details can make a big difference, and what appears to be an ordinary coin could hold special value. As interest in Lincoln Wheat Pennies continues to grow, the 1946 1-cent coin remains a timeless piece of American numismatic history. Next up, the 1945 D 1-cent coin from the United States is one of the most historically important Lincoln Wheat Pennies ever produced, and today it remains a fascinating coin for collectors, history lovers, and anyone interested in valuable old pennies that may still be hiding in collections. This coin was minted during the final year of World War II, a time when America was undergoing massive economic, industrial, and social change. Every 1945 D Lincoln Wheat Penny tells a story not just of money, but of a nation transitioning from war to peace, and that history alone makes this coin highly desirable among collectors. The 1945 D penny was struck at the Denver Mint, which is identified by the small D mint mark located below the date on the obverse of the coin. In 1945, the Denver Mint produced more than 266 million 1-cent coins, making it one of the higher mintage years for wheat pennies. However, Despite the large production numbers, many examples were heavily circulated during the post-war economy, which means well-preserved examples are far scarcer today than the mintage figures suggest. This 1-cent coin features the iconic portrait of President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, a design originally created by Victor David Brenner. Lincoln's profile faces right, symbolizing unity and strength, which was especially meaningful during wartime America. The word liberty appears to the left of Lincoln's portrait, while the national motto, "In God We Trust," is displayed prominently above his head. The date 1945 sits to the lower right, with a Denver mint mark clearly visible beneath it, a key detail collectors always check first. On the reverse, the 1945D penny carries the classic wheat ears design, which was used from 1909 until 1958. Two wheat stalks frame the words 1 cent and United States of America, with a Latin motto E pluribus unum above. This design symbolizes America's agricultural strength and prosperity, which was especially important during and after the war years when food production supported both civilians and soldiers overseas. The composition of the 1945D 1-cent coin is another reason it holds strong interest. Unlike the steel cents of 1943, the 1945 penny returned to a copper-based alloy. It is made of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, giving it that familiar reddish-brown appearance when well-preserved. Because copper was still considered a strategic material during the war, the return to copper coinage in 1944 and 1945 marks an important shift in U.S. minting history. Collectors often search for the 1945D penny because of its connection to World War II and because it represents the final year of wartime coin production. As soldiers returned home and the economy expanded, these pennies circulated heavily in everyday commerce, used in grocery stores, gas stations, and small businesses across America. This heavy circulation is why finding a sharp, original example today is much more difficult than many people realize. Condition plays a major role in the value and collectability of the 1945D wheat penny. Coins that show heavy wear, flattened details, or dark surfaces are common, but examples that retain strong detail in Lincoln's hair, clear wheat lines on the reverse, and smooth original surfaces are significantly more desirable. Natural color is also important, with coins showing rich brown, red-brown, or original red tones often attracting more attention from collectors. One of the most exciting aspects of the 1945D 1-cent coin is the possibility of errors and varieties. While no major double-die varieties are widely recognized to this date, collectors still examine these coins carefully for mint errors such as off-center strikes, die cracks, clip planches, weak strikes, or repunched mint marks. Even small errors can greatly increase collector interest and market demand. Strike quality can vary widely on 1945D pennies. Some coins show weak details on the wheat ears or Lincoln's hair due to worn dies or high production speed at the Denver Mint. Strongly struck examples, especially those with crisp wheat lines and bold lettering, are much harder to find and are often set aside by advanced collectors. Another important factor for collectors is originality. Coins that have not been cleaned or altered are far more desirable. Cleaning can remove the natural surface texture and pattern that a collectors value, and once a coin is cleaned, it often loses much of its appeal. Original 1945D wheat pennies with untouched surfaces are increasingly scarce, especially in higher quality ranges. The historical context of the 1945D penny adds to its appeal. In 1945, the United States was celebrating victory in Europe and the Pacific, and the economy was shifting from wartime production to consumer goods. Pennies minted during this time were used by families rebuilding their lives, buying everyday necessities, and participating in the booming post-war economy. Owning a 1945D penny is like holding a small piece of that transformative moment in American history. Many collectors enjoy assembling complete sets of Lincoln Wheat Pennies by date and mint mark, and the 1945D coin is an essential part of any serious collection. While it is not the rarest wheat penny, its historical importance and connection to World War II make it one of the most meaningful coins in the series. Interest in wheat pennies continues to grow, especially among new collectors searching through inherited collections, old jars, and estate finds. The 1945D penny is often discovered in these situations, and learning how to identify valuable characteristics can make a big difference. Checking the mint mark, examining the surfaces, and looking for unusual features are all important steps when evaluating this coin. From an investment perspective, historical coins like the 1945 D1 cent tend to hold steady long-term interest due to their copper content, age, and collector demand. While values can fluctuate depending on market conditions, well-preserved examples consistently attract attention from collectors who appreciate both history and craftsmanship. The 1945 D wheat penny also serves as a reminder how everyday objects can become meaningful collectibles over time. What once cost a single cent and passed through countless hands is now studied, preserved, and admired for its design and historical significance. Collectors around the world, not just in the United States, recognize the Lincoln Wheat Penny as one of the most iconic coins ever produced. The 1945 D issue stands out because it represents the closing chapter of America's wartime era, making it especially symbolic within the series. If you enjoy searching for old coins, studying U.S. history, or building a meaningful collection, the 1945 D1 cent coin is a piece worth knowing well. Its design, composition, and story combine to make it a standout example of American coinage. As time goes on, fewer original examples remain in circulation, and each year more are permanently placed into collections. This gradual reduction in available coins helps maintain interest and ensures that the 1945 D wheat penny remains relevant to collectors for generations to come. Whether you already own one or hope to find one, understanding the background and characteristics of the 1945 D penny adds depth to the collecting experience. It is more than just a coin. It is a historical artifact that connects us directly to a pivotal moment in American history. Next up, the 1945 1-cent coin from the United States is one of the most historically important and widely searched Lincoln Wheat pennies among collectors and coin enthusiasts. This coin represents the final year of World War II and marks a critical transition period in American history. When people search online for the value of old pennies, rare wheat cents, or valuable Lincoln cents, the 1945 1-cent coin consistently appears among the most discussed and researched coins. In this video, we are going to explore everything you need to know about the 1945 Lincoln Wheat Penny, including its history, design, metal composition, mint varieties, eras, rarity, and what makes certain examples valuable today. The 1945 penny was produced during a time when the United States was emerging from wartime production. Just 2 years earlier, in 1943, pennies were made from steel due to copper shortages. By 1944 and 1945, the U.S. Mint returned to producing copper-based cents, but the metal composition still reflected wartime recycling efforts. The 1945 1-cent coin was struck using a bronze alloy made primarily from recycled shell casings from World War II ammunition. This unique origin adds strong historical value to the coin and is one of the main reasons collectors find the 1945 penny so appealing. The obverse of the 1945 Lincoln Wheat Penny features the iconic portrait of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. Lincoln faces to the right, with the word Liberty positioned to the left and the date 1945 clearly displayed on the right. Above Lincoln's head is a national motto, "In God We Trust." This design had been used on U.S. pennies since 1909 and remained unchanged throughout the wheat cent era. The clarity of the date on the 1945 penny is especially important, as many collectors focus on strong, well-defined numerals when determining desirability. On the reverse side of the coin, the familiar wheat ears frame the words 1 cent and United States of America, with a motto E pluribus unum at the top. The wheat stalks symbolize agricultural prosperity and national unity, themes that were particularly meaningful in the post-war period. The wheat reverse design was used until 1958, making the 1945 penny one of the later issues in this beloved series. The 1945 1-cent coin was minted at 3 different locations in the United States. Coins struck in Philadelphia do not carry a mint mark, while coins produced in Denver carry a small d, and those minted in San Francisco feature an S. Each mint produced a large number of pennies in 1945, but collectors still carefully search for differences in strike quality, surface condition, and rare errors. The Philadelphia Mint produced the highest number of 1945 pennies, with over 1 billion coins struck. Because of this massive production, the 1945 penny without a mint mark is generally considered common. However, condition plays a crucial role in value. Coins that show sharp details, strong lettering, and minimal wear are far more desirable than heavily circulated examples. The Denver Mint also produced hundreds of millions of 1945 1-cent coins. The 1945 D penny is popular among collectors because Denver minted coins from the 1940s often display strong strikes. Many collectors search specifically for well-centered examples with full wheat lines and clean fields. While circulated examples are common, higher quality pieces can still command significant interest. The San Francisco Mint produced fewer 1945 pennies compared to Philadelphia and Denver, making the 1945 S penny slightly scarcer in comparison. San Francisco coins from this era are sometimes known for softer strikes, which makes sharply struck examples especially desirable. Collectors often examine the wheat ears and Lincoln's facial details closely when evaluating a 1945 S penny. The metal composition of the 1945 penny is another major point of interest. The coin is made of approximately 95% copper and 5% zinc and tin. This bronze composition gives the coin its rich reddish-brown color when well preserved. Over time, exposure to air and handling can cause the coin to darken, which is why collectors often categorize these pennies by color, such as red, red-brown, or brown. Color preservation can significantly influence market demand. One of the most exciting aspects of the 1945 1-cent coin is the possibility of mint errors and varieties. Error coins are highly sought after because they offer something unique beyond standard production. Common errors found on 1945 pennies include double die features, off-center strikes, clip planches, and die cracks. Double die errors can appear on lettering, the date, or Lincoln's features, creating a noticeable doubling effect that collectors love to discover. Another fascinating error involves planchet issues. Because the mint was transitioning materials during the war years, there have been rare cases where pennies from nearby years were struck on incorrect planches. Although extremely rare, such errors are among the most valuable discoveries in the Lincoln cent series and attract significant attention when found. When evaluating the value of a 1945 penny, condition is everything. Most circulated examples are worth only a small premium over face value, but coins that remain in excellent condition can be far more desirable. Sharp details, clean surfaces, and strong original luster all contribute to collector interest. Pennies that appear untouched by heavy circulation often stand out immediately to experienced collectors. Collectors also pay close attention to strike quality. A well-struck 1945 penny will show clear separation in the wheat stalks, strong lettering, and defined facial features on Lincoln. Weak strikes, which are more common on some San Francisco issues, may show flattened details and less visual appeal. Another factor that influences collector demand is originality. Coins that retain their natural surfaces and have not been harshly cleaned are generally more desirable. Cleaning can remove original metal surfaces and reduce long-term collector appeal, even if the coin appears shiny at first glance. The 1945 Lincoln Wheat Penny is especially popular among beginners because it is affordable, historic, and easy to find. At the same time, it remains interesting for advanced collectors due to the wide range of conditions, mint marks, and potential errors. This balance makes a coin a staple in Lincoln cent collections around the world. From an investment perspective, the 1945 penny represents steady long-term interest rather than sudden spikes. Its value is tied closely to condition, rarity of errors, and overall demand for wheat cents. Because wheat pennies are among the most collected U.S. coins, demand remains strong year after year. Another reason the 1945 penny attracts so much attention is its symbolic role as the final wartime penny. As the war ended in 1945, the coin became a small but powerful reminder of American resilience and industrial strength. Holding a 1945 penny is like holding a piece of history from one of the most important years of the 20th century. Collectors often search rolls of old pennies hoping to find well-preserved 1945 examples or rare errors. Even today, these coins still appear in circulation from time to time, making the hunt exciting for both casual collectors and serious numismatists. The popularity of the 1945 1-cent coin continues to grow online, with thousands of searches each month for terms like 1945 penny value, 1945 wheat penny era, 1945 Lincoln cent, and old U.S. Now we will explore if you are a coin collector, a history lover, or someone searching for valuable old pennies. Today's video is all about the 1951 D 1-cent coin from the United States. This Lincoln Wheat Penny may look ordinary at first glance, but it holds an important place in American numismatic history and continues to attract collectors around the world. Many people still find these coins in old jars, inherited collections, or estate boxes, and some are surprised to learn how much interest a 1951 penny can generate depending on condition, rarity, and striking details. The 1951 penny was minted during a time when the United States was adjusting to post-World War II life. The country was entering the early years of the Cold War. Industries were expanding, and everyday coins like the Lincoln cent were being produced in large quantities to support a growing economy. The Denver Mint played a major role in supplying coinage for circulation, and the small D mint mark beneath the date identifies this coin as a Denver issue. The design of the 1951 1-cent coin follows the iconic Lincoln Wheat Penny style that had been in use since 1909. On the front of the coin, you will find the right-facing portrait of Abraham Lincoln, created by sculptor Victor David Brenner. Lincoln's image represents unity, leadership, and American resilience, values that were especially meaningful during the mid-20th century. Above Lincoln's head is the word liberty, while the phrase "In God We Trust" arches across the top rim. The date 1951 appears clearly on the right side, with a small D mint mark just below it. On the reverse side, the design features two wheat stalks framing the word 1 cent and United States of America. Above that, the motto E pluribus unum reminds us of the nation's founding principle, meaning out of many, one. This wheat reverse design symbolizes America's agricultural strength and prosperity, which was still a central part of the nation's identity in 1951. The 1951 penny is made primarily of copper, with a composition of approximately 95% copper and 5% zinc. This gives the coin its familiar reddish-brown color when freshly minted. Over time, exposure to air, moisture, and handling can change the surface color to brown or even darker shades. Collectors pay close attention to surface color, as original red examples are much more desirable than heavily worn or darkened coins. In terms of mintage, the Denver Mint produced hundreds of millions of pennies in 1951. Because of this large production number, the 1951 penny is generally considered common in circulated condition. However, that does not mean it lacks value or collector interest. Condition plays a huge role in determining how much a 1951 penny may be worth. Coins that show minimal wear, sharp details, and clean surfaces are always more sought after than heavily circulated examples. When examining a 1951 penny, collectors look closely at Lincoln's hair, cheek, and jawline. On well-preserved coins, you can clearly see individual hair strands and strong facial contours. On worn coins, these details become smooth and flat. On the reverse, the wheat stalk should show clear lines and separation. Weak or faded wheat details usually indicate heavy circulation. Another factor that adds interest to the 1951 penny is the possibility of mint errors and striking variations. While most coins are produced correctly, some examples escape the mint with unusual characteristics. These can include off-center strikes, doubled lettering, clipped planchets, or weak strikes. Coins with visible and dramatic errors can attract significant attention from collectors who specialize in mint varieties. Die cracks and die chips are also occasionally found on 1951 pennies. These appear as raised lines or blobs of metal on the coin's surface and result from worn or damaged dies used during striking. While minor die cracks may not have much value, strong and visually appealing examples can be quite collectible. The historical context of the 1951 penny also adds to its appeal. This coin circulated during a time when Americans were adjusting to new technologies, suburban growth, and changes in daily life. It passed through the hands of workers, families, shopkeepers, and children buying candy or newspapers. Each circulated example tells a small story of everyday American life in the early 1950s. Collectors often enjoy assembling complete date and mint mark sets of Lincoln Wheat Pennies, and the 1951 coin is an essential part of that journey. While it may not be the rarest coin in the series, finding a clean, well-preserved example can still be a rewarding experience. Many collectors search for examples with strong strikes, minimal marks, and original luster. Storage and preservation are important for anyone who owns a 1951 penny. To protect the coin from further wear or environmental damage, it should be kept in a dry, stable environment. Avoid touching the surface with bare fingers, as oils from skin can cause long-term discoloration. Using protective holders can help maintain the coin's condition for years to come. The value of a 1951D 1-cent coin can vary widely depending on condition and eye appeal. Heavily circulated examples are usually valued modestly, while higher quality coins can bring significantly more interest from collectors. Coins with sharp detail, original color, and no damage stand out in the marketplace. Error coins or unusually well-struck examples may command even higher premiums. Interest in Lincoln Wheat Pennies remains strong, especially among new collectors. Many people start their numismatic journey with pennies because they are affordable, historically rich, and widely available. The 1951D penny fits perfectly into this category, offering both accessibility and educational value. Another reason the 1951D penny is popular is nostalgia. For many collectors, these coins remind them of childhood coin jars, family collections, or stories passed down through generations. Holding a coin that circulated more than 70 years ago creates a tangible connection to the past. As time goes on, original high-quality examples of the 1951D penny are becoming harder to find. Many were heavily circulated or improperly stored, reducing the number of coins that remain in attractive condition. This gradual decrease in supply keeps collector interest alive and makes careful examples more desirable. Whether you are collecting for fun, history, or long-term interest, the 1951D United States 1-cent coin is a meaningful piece of American coinage. It represents a post-war nation, a classic design, and the enduring legacy of the Lincoln cent series. If you have a 1951D penny, take a moment to examine it closely. Look at the details, the color, and the overall condition. You might discover something special that sets your coin apart. Even common coins can become treasures when preserved well when they show unique characteristics. For collectors around the world, the 1951D Lincoln Wheat Penny continues to be a fascinating and educational coin. Its history, design, and place in American culture make it much more than just 1 cent. It is a small but powerful reminder of the past, still surviving in collections and coin boxes today.